Hello, and thank you for joining KTL Solution, the new commerce experience. We are still having some people join us today. So if you can give us a few minutes and we'll get started in about 3 minutes. Okay, so we will start. Thank you for joining KTL's The New Commerce Experience. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat box, but just know that we will answer those questions at the end of the webinar. If we don't get to your questions today, a KTL consultant will reach out to you. And this webinar is being recorded, so this webinar will be sent to you after we are finished, as well as a PDF copy of the deck. My name is Gabrielle Manganello. I'm an inside salesperson, so I'll be monitoring. And we have Stephen Reed, who will be doing the presentation today. He is our director in sales and marketing, as well as Andrew Lally, who will be here to answer any questions as needed. He's our director of software development and technology here at KTL Solutions. So I'll take it over with Steve.
Great, Gabby. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you all for attending. We'll see a lot of familiar names participating today. Again, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being KTL customers. And we look forward to covering this, important topic with you today. There are a lot of important changes coming to the Microsoft licensing and subscription model. And our goal today is really to get out and give you as much of this information now. It is a process that's going to be going on for a couple months, all the way up until March of next year. But we're trying to get you some information to start preparing and learning more about these changes, and getting your organization prepared and letting us work with you guys through this process. So today we're going to talk about some product pricing changes that have been announced by Microsoft that are going to go into effect in 2022, and so we're going to just highlight those a little bit. We are going to talk about what is the new commerce experience, and what does that mean, because you're going to be seeing a lot of information about it, and kind of touch base with you about how this is going to impact your licensing and subscription options, when the changes will take place, and just trying to set the set the expectations and inform and educate you guys on what is coming. There is still more coming from Microsoft, and there's still more things that we're doing to prepare and develop the roadmap for this transition. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go throughout the day. And then, of course, we're going to have Q&A at the end. So first of all, regarding some pricing changes, Microsoft did announce these. You may have seen them. They, I think, announced them in August or September. And these are going to be changes that are going to go into effect on March 2022, March 1st, 2022. So they're increases in Microsoft 365, some 365 SKUs and Office 365 SKUs. These are some of their more popular SKUs. And there's also going to be some realignment of some features and functions that are going to be added to some of these. Some of that is still a bit preliminary and is a little bit of information coming out in it, but there'll be more information coming, and what's going to be exactly added and included in those SKUs, but they do have these planned increases. Many of these licenses have not had increases for certainly the Office 365, E5, E3, and E1 SKUs haven't had any price increases in about 10 years. And the M365 SKUs are relatively new, but they are making some pricing adjustments and everything in those. So those will take effect in March 1st, 2022. So getting locked in, if these are some licenses and things like that you're going with, you can get them now at the current pricing, but after March 1st, they will be at the higher prices. Okay, so we're going to talk today about this new commerce journey and what Microsoft has been doing, and it has been a journey, even though we're having the webinar today to talk about how these changes are going to start impacting you today and into 2022. The journey and the process Microsoft has started really back in 2019. And prior to that, they had a lot of legacy platforms that they used for billing and selling licenses to customers. CSP is one of those. The current legacy CSP platform is one of those, but they had open value licenses, they had enterprise agreements, they had some Azure Marketplace type platforms for Azure. So there were a lot of different channels that they had for customers to buy licenses and buy services. They are trying to streamline those, and their goal is to eliminate or make the transacting of licenses much easier. So they started the process of building out this new commerce platform, which is the new commerce experience, which what we're going to talk about. In 2021, 2020, they started the process of moving perpetual licenses that you could start buying the perpetual licenses that you would typically buy through the open licensing SKUs and platform, making those available in CSP. We're transacting and selling those to our customers today, those traditional perpetual licenses that you used to buy through open licensing. And effectively December 31st of this year, the open licensing will go away. And so the transacting of that will occur through the CSP model. And being able to transact those with us through that model. And those things are coming, and that has been in the process and has been forthcoming for quite some time, and they're going to be transacting and eliminating the current platform December 31st of this year. But what's coming for 2021 and 2022 is the transition to this new commerce platform, which is now going to move and bring in the Dynamics, the Microsoft, the Office 365 licensing, and all of these other types of SKUs into the platform and the expansion of the CSP pricing model. So today, in the legacy platform, in the legacy CSP platform that you work on with us, over to the left, you can see Windows, Office, Dynamics, Power Platform, all of those licenses that you all transact with us every day are in there in the legacy billing platform. There's some Azure consumption services, but the new commerce platform does exist and has been out there, and that is already in use, and we're using it already with Azure, with many of our customers on Azure under Azure Plan. There's other kinds of server subscription and other marketplace offers that are out there, and of course we're using it for licenses for perpetual software for your Exchange server or on-premise, Windows Server type licensing, SQL Server licenses, things like that. We're already transacting with that, and much of that is already occurring in the new commerce billing platform. What's happening is effectively January 1st, all of these legacy platform licenses, the Windows, the Office 365, the M365s, will be moving over, and starting in January 1st, those licenses are going to be available to transact and will start being transacted in the new commerce billing platform. And effectively March 1st of 2022, all new subscriptions and new offers and additions and deletions will occur in the new commerce platform. So your legacy billing, they're going to be phasing that out and moving that over to the new commerce platform. So today in CSP, if many of you looked at your admin panels and you looked at that information, your M365 or Office 365 admin panels, you would notice that today in CSP, even though many of you may be being billed monthly, you have the ability to add and decrease licenses, there is a subscription term associated with your licenses that you have. But KTL, and many of our other partners out there obviously allow you to add, decrease, downgrade licenses as necessary. Our CSP portal does that, provides you with that capability. But Microsoft always has viewed that as a 12-month subscription term. Even in Dynamics 365, there are some 36-month subscription terms that are out there as well, and there will be some of those available in the new platform. But today, this is kind of what is set up out there, and you're going to do that. Now, what's changing, okay, is that the current legacy platform for Microsoft really did not provide them the ability to enforce any of these subscription rules. So what that meant is just what's happening today and has been happening is that customers, even though they've had a 12-month term, when they set up a new tenant and they add subscriptions to their tenant for use by your employees, they didn't have any ways for the partners to enforce it. They weren't enforcing it on the partners to not allow customers to decrease licensing, downgrade licensing. Certainly, you could increase licensing and upgrade at any time, but they had nothing in place to be able to enforce those subscription terms in the legacy billing platform. That's what's changing. That's one of the key changes that's moving forward in the migration over to the new commerce experience, is that they are now going to have the ability to enforce these subscription terms. So in essence, what's going to happen is there's going to be 3 different terms that are going to be available for customers for the SKUs that are out there through CSP. One is going to be a 1-month subscription. That is going to continue to allow customers to add and decrease licenses on a monthly basis. And the term will be 1 month, and you would be able to make those changes on a month-to-month basis as you are now. The difference is that the 1-month subscriptions are going to have a 20% annual, they're going to be 20% more expensive per user per month than the 12-month subscription. So with that flexibility of having a month-to-month subscription, is going to be an additional cost of 20% on those licenses. Most licenses will have a 1-month option, and will be available for that, but they're going to be month to month, and they're going to be at a premium price. 12-month subscriptions are out there. Those will be at the prices that you've been seeing today, other than the price increases that I showed you previously that will go into effect. But the 12-month subscription pricing will be out there. That's a regular commitment for 12 months. But billing options are changing as well, in that we're going to have to be paid upfront. The monthly billing options, because of the that are out there, you're going to have to pay up front. So we're going to basically look at your licenses, bill you for 12 months in advance, and you would have those licenses and everything in your subscription at that point. So the billing options are going to significantly change from where they are now. The monthly billing plans will not be able to continue under these scenarios, because when the 12-month subscriptions are made, not only is the customer committing to the 12-month commitment, but it is also committing KTL to Microsoft that the 12-month subscription is there as well. So we're going to be billed for that, and these types of changes. So the process is changing as well. There's also, for the partners as well, there's a 36-month subscription. This really is, there's no price differences in terms of the actual per user per month subscription price that are going to be available in this, and but it does allow you to lock in your pricing for 36 months, whereby you know that there are not going to be any prices for 36 months that are out there, but you're going to be paying for 3 years of that licensing upfront and in advance as well. And there will be, not every SKU or every license will have a 36-month option, but pretty much everything is going to have 1 month and 12 month. There will be a lot of the Dynamics solutions will have a 36-month subscription, but with having to pay for 36 months in advance, I'm not sure how many customers would choose or utilize this option. But that is the options that are out there. So some questions that have come up that just to address it with, as we've discussed this with some customers, is, can a customer combine annual and monthly subscriptions in the same service? And the answer is yes. So what could be done is you could have a base subscription of, I'm just using the example of 100 users. Maybe you're not sure if you got 10 new employees, you've got some seasonal businesses, things like that. You may want to utilize the monthly subscriptions to help handle seasonal ups and downs or contract up and downs based on how your work comes in, or as you add new employees until such time as they're permanent and going to be there for a while and those positions are going to exist. You may want to use the monthly subscriptions for a while before you make commitments to 12-month subscription type of agreements. The monthly, can monthly term subscriptions be upgraded? So yes, you can. You will take once you determine that you want to move off the monthly and you're ready to make the commitment into the 12-month subscription or move them into your current 12-month terms. You will be able to upgrade them and change them to annual term subscriptions. There is also an upgrade process that is available as well, so that you can take, for example, an M365 E3 license and upgrade it to an M365 E5 license, and you can upgrade that. But you're not the ability to downgrade or decrease licenses if you have a 12-month subscription is only going to be available to you at your renewal date. So you will be able to downgrade and decrease licenses, but it will be at the anniversary date of your contract term. You can increase licenses throughout the year. So as you grow and you need to add licenses based on new hires, obviously you can upgrade them, but you can add licenses as well. And you would be billed for prorated amount at that point. So at whatever point you add them within the year, you would be prorated and you would be billed for that remaining amount of that license to your renewal date, to your next renewal date. And then those licenses would just be part of your renewal. So you do just pay a prorated amount for those licenses at the time you add them. But again, this is very different. Many of you have been used to going into the portal and being able to downgrade and decrease licenses as necessary based on the impacts or whatever's been going on in the business. But you're not going to be able to do that unless you're on a monthly subscription. So you'll only be able to do that at your renewal term. Okay. So the couple different things we're, from the roadmap and timeline of this, we have got some announcements ourselves on this in October. We just received some technical availability to the APIs and information coming from Partner Center. As you can imagine, this is going to have a significant impact on our CSP portal. So we are working through, our development team is working through making and creating changes in the portal and what that's going to look like, and testing out and creating the new API information that we're going to get from Partner Center so we can feed in these new offers and these new prices and the new kind of business rules that are going to be in place around subscription licensing. So we're building that out, and those changes will be forthcoming. The new licensing and the new SKUs are going to be generally available right after the first of the year. So we will begin transacting and all new business through the new licensing SKUs, and all the new customers that we bring on at that point will be in the new commerce experience. For you all that are current customers and have been on the legacy platform, there will be a transition process that we're going to have to go through. We're still waiting on some more detailed information on exactly what's going to be available, what offers, some promotions, different things like that are going to be coming to assist in this transition. And we don't have all of those yet. Those are kind of coming out as we speak. We've got a meeting this Friday, but there's more information that'll be coming out to help in this transition process and moving forward with it. But certainly as of March 2022, all new orders, Microsoft will be mandating all new orders will have to be transacted through the commerce experience, and no longer will be able to utilize old legacy platform in terms of adding new subscriptions or offers or renewals or anything like that. All of that's going to have to be done in that process. Our understanding is, and I may let Andrew jump in on this, but our understanding of the process for you all that are in the currently legacy platform is that you in your current legacy situation, you have an expiration date, and there are going to be some incentives that, as I said, that Microsoft's going to have out there, and some promotions that we're going to bring to you guys so that we can transact and transition your current legacy SKUs into the new commerce platform SKUs. But at any point, there is going to be a point, we're not going to necessarily have to transition everything by March 1st. Our understanding is, but based on your current expiration date of your licenses, you may be able to stay on the current platform and until your point that your licenses expire. But then after that, we're going to have to renew into the new commerce experience. And after March 1st, if you needed to make new license additions and add those, you're not going to be able to do those through the portal. You're going to have to make all new subscription orders through the new commerce experience. So there's going to be, and there is a transition process just to switch the SKUs over from the legacy billing platform to the new platform. It's transparent. It's things that we have to do on our end. It's not doesn't impact the users, doesn't impact any of that, but there are some things that we have to do in terms of transitioning those things. But that is still, as we understand it today, what the transition and the steps are going to be as a part of that. We have more of that coming to us as we get more insight into it. That is the reason that we're going to be having more and more webinars. I suspect, our goal today was to do a very quick introduction of what is coming, get you prepared for it. Certainly answer some questions today that are going to come in, but there's going to be more of these sessions. We think there's probably going to be another 2 to 3 of these between now and March 1st to roll out more information to you, transition plans, transition offers, how this is going to impact the portal, and start, letting you do that, because there is an entire process also that's going to be, that we have to develop as a part of renewing your licenses each and every year. We've been already doing that in the GCC High environment, because all GCC High licensing and customers have already been purchased on an annual basis, and we've been having to do renewals through that process and through that channel for several years. We have to bring a similar type of process now to this channel and platform, and we're going to be trying to build that out in the CSP portal to automate that and make that as easy and as painless as possible. But that is the point at which you will be able to make licensing, decrease licenses, and downgrade licenses if necessary. So we want to make sure that we have that very seamless and make it very easy for you guys to be able to do that on an annual basis. Let's see, next steps. Talk about that real quick. So as I said, stay tuned for more webinars. We will be having more of these to keep you guys up to date and educated on the transition and going through the planning and getting everything prepared. That's our job, to try to keep you guys current and up to speed on these types of things. Also be on the lookout for some CSP portal changes. We are going to be working on in the portal as you guys go in there now and continue to do what you're doing with adding and subtracting licenses. That is available. You can continue to transact that way. We are going to be adding an announcement area on your main page of your dashboard when you do log into the portal. And we will be making announcements there of upcoming webinars, any news that comes out from Microsoft regarding these licensing changes. So that will be a centralized point of information for you to try to keep you up to date on these the new commerce experience and the upcoming changes to subscriptions and licensing, as well as the webinars that we're going to be doing. Also, meet with your KTL account rep to discuss your options. As you can imagine, we are trying to get ourselves up to speed on and what the plans and everything are going to be. This is going to be between now and the end of the year. We should have all the plans and all the processes lined out from Microsoft. And then really starting in January, when the new offers and new promotions are going to come out, I think we will be very, very busy with our customers and helping go through these plans, go through these programs, and trying to help smooth out the transition for those that transition right away and go through that. So that's what they're trying to do, and Microsoft's trying to incentivize and make that happen. The other thing I would say, which I didn't put here, but would be for you to start to analyze your current subscription base, making sure that, are all your licenses assigned? Do you have the right types of licenses? Because obviously, before we move into the new commerce experience, we just want to make sure that you're not over licensed or under licensed in terms of the number of license, or people don't have have licenses that they're not using the features and the functions, because you'll just want to make sure that those are aligned appropriately. We'll help you with that and making sure that you've got the right types of licenses for the right types of users. But that is part of the planning process as well. So, Andrew, is there anything else that I know we covered a lot of bases. We covered it fairly quickly. Is there anything you feel like that things that I left out or that we should share with the group today?
No, I think you kind of did a good job covering everything, unless someone has a specific question that you didn't answer. I think you covered pretty much everything I have to go over. Okay.
Gabby, we'll kick it over to you. I don't know.
Yes,
questions have come in or what's going on.
We do have some questions here. So our first question is, if we did 12 months, would the license be interchangeable to the assigned user?
Yes. So just like today, when you have licenses, you assign it to Andrew. Andrew leaves KTL. You can unassign that licenses and assign it to myself. So yes, you would be able to interchange that to different users. Is that correct, Andrew?
That is correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, we have another question. In regards to the subscriptions, will I be able to add new licenses and subscriptions during my subscription term?
Yes, you will be able to add new subscriptions. So if you're in your 12-month period, Microsoft is going to be nice enough to let you add more licenses and add new subscriptions and new licensing SKUs. The only thing that they're not going to let you do is decrease licenses or downgrade licenses during that term. They will only allow you to do that at one point in time, which is at your renewal date.
Great.
Which again that's how they do it again, in the GCC High space as well. So we may have a GCC High customer on here or two, or some customers that have both government and commercial tenants. So that's the same process that exists in GCC High as well. You can add licenses throughout the term, billed for a prorated amount, but you can only decrease at the renewal date.
Got it. Okay. Another question. If I do add licenses during the term, will I pay a prorated amount?
Yes. So when you add those licenses, I think as I indicated earlier, that when you add those licenses at any point in the process throughout the year, then you will still do that through the portal. Our plan is that you're still going to be able to go into the portal, add new licenses and new subscriptions, increase license counts during that. So the portal will still be your primary mechanism for transacting those types of licensing changes, but you will only be billed for that license. So at whatever point in the year, if you did it in June and there's 6 months left, you would only be billed for 6 months of that licensing to the next date of your renewal. And you would just receive a prorated bill for that period of time. And then at your annual renewal, that license would now be part of your annual renewal, and you would pay for that at that time, along with your rest of your renewal licenses.
Okay, so will these changes apply to GCC, nonprofit, and academic licenses as well?
Yes, certainly the billing platform is going to be all of CSP licensing is going to be moving into this new billing platform, so it will impact that. One question, we did have a call earlier this week regarding the pricing changes. I have not seen the pricing changes that will, for those licenses that I showed you earlier. I have not seen any announced pricing changes for those licenses in the nonprofit and academic SKUs yet. My feeling is that they will occur, and those usually the nonprofit and academic SKUs are usually a set percentage of the full retail SKU. So those probably will take effect on March 1st as well. On a call this week that we had, or last week in our GCC and GCC High partner call, this question came up to Microsoft, and they, again, the group we work with has not seen the announced changes to the GCC pricing changes in terms of price increases for the GCC licenses yet, but in terms of transacting GCC licenses that are purchased through CSP, these changes will be, the GCC, nonprofit, and academic licenses will all be part of the same billing and CSP platform.
Okay. So as for the cost, are the costs for other services such as audio conferencing, et cetera, also going up?
Andrew, I've not seen any notices of those SKUs changing. I did see where they were talking about in certain license SKUs, because like in an M365 and O365 E5 licenses, audio conferencing is a part of those licenses. I did see where they were planning on moving the audio conferencing SKU and making that part of even the E3 SKUs and some of the other SKUs, because they feel like it's very, very important to the team's meeting experience, and they wanted to make that more available in more of the licenses. But I have not seen any price increases for those yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Microsoft's kind of justification for increasing the licensing that was on the previous slide was that they've been adding a ton of features to those licensing SKUs over the years, and they haven't increased pricing at all for them since inception. And so they determined it was time to increase the price. So the other ones that are just a single app doesn't really fit their justification of we added stuff.
So one thing on the audio conferencing SKU, to the person that asked that question, is that we could find out that not only are the prices not increasing, we don't think that that's occurring, but it is very possible that the audio conferencing SKU will become part of a new SKU, and you really will not have to buy that license separately moving forward. It's going to be a part of your base license price. So they have announced that. We're waiting on which licenses those are going to be part of. So that would be one benefit of some licensing costs that could go down, because they will just roll it into some of those other licenses, and it would be just a part of those naturally. From an IT standpoint, it would also be beneficial because it's one less license or subscription you got to manage and assign to a user too, if it was based on a unified SKU, make it much, much easier for license assignment as well.
Thank you, Steve.
Any other questions, Gabby?
Yes. Will there be a specific call for GCC to go over cost impacts once they're released by Microsoft?
Yes. Yep. So any of the price increases we get, Microsoft, there's usually 4 to 6 months in advance of that, and that as soon as we get the news on the GCC pricing, we'll be rolling out all of that information directly to our GCC accounts as well, and there'll be a separate call and meeting for that.
Okay. How will renewals be handled each year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would have to say, to be honest, we have not formulated that process. Microsoft has built in functionality to help assist us, not only as partners that have portals like we do, but also to assist the customers in making it a somewhat automated and easy process. But we have not incorporated all that technically into the portal yet, and making sure what that's going to look like and how we're going to facilitate it. Andrew, I know you're probably closer to this than me because you've been looking at it and what the capabilities are going to be. But I do know we are trying to automate it as much as possible, where we give them, customers notification in a certain amount of advance time prior to the renewal date, so they can make their changes, whether it's decreasing or downgrading licenses prior to rolling forward with the renewal. But I know you have more information on this probably than I do.
Yeah, so on Microsoft's side, they have a hard date in which you won't be able to remove licensing, and you're just kind of stuck with it. So from an end user perspective, you will be able to go into the customer portal, and for the new commerce licensing, be able to just tell the system that whenever your renewal is, I want to renew for 8 licenses instead of 10. And just go in there, be sent to Microsoft and set up on the Microsoft side, so that whenever the renewal happens, you only get 8 licenses. And that's kind of what you'll be billed for. We'll generate invoices and notices well before that. That way you clearly know what it's going to cost and when invoices due. What else would be in there? Yeah, so it should be hopefully straightforward. It's just going to be now a little more serious come licensing term, because we're still waiting on what type of wiggle room Microsoft is going to give in the event that somebody does miss changing their quantity. If they never wanted to renew the subscription, or they wanted to reduce quantity and they missed it by a week or something like that, are they going to allow us to kind of retroactively fix it? Or if they're really going to hold their guns and everyone's just kind of stuck to that licensing count. But it all will be accommodated in there. You'll be able to see when your renewal is, be able to see if someone said that on the renewal date, I'm going to cancel this, or on the renewal date, we're going to downgrade to 5 licenses. And that will all kind of function and be clear for everyone when they go in there, so there aren't any surprises come your renewal date.
Thank you, Andrew. One last question. Will KTL still allow customers to pay monthly?
At this point, for your current legacy platforms and what you've got on there, as we understand it today, in terms of how that's going to transition and your ability to stay on your current licensing and your under the old platform, and if you were a monthly customer and we've been billing you monthly, you would be able to stay on that until such time as your current term expires. But at the point that we move over to the new commerce experience and you have 12-month terms, monthly billing probably is not going to be an option. We are looking at some ways to continue to be able to potentially allow monthly billing, some different plans or programs. We do not have anything developed at this time that may be able to allow that to happen. But currently, we, under the new commerce experience, monthly billing will not be an option.
Okay, those are the last questions over here.
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks, Gabby, for getting those out, watching that. Andrew, thanks for being on the call and doing this. And again, for our customers, thank you guys. We appreciate your business. Our goal is to continue to keep you guys up to date on what is going on. We realize this is a big change. It's certainly a big change for us. We know it's a big change for our customers, and we are, trying to navigate this as well, making sure that we get our portal and everything up to date, that we make the transition to this new subscription and licensing model as seamless and painless as possible. And please know that, do not hesitate to reach out to your account managers. We may not have all the answers today because we're still trying to get them from Microsoft and they haven't provided them to all of us as partners yet. We're trying to get more of it. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us and let us start this process with you so that we can help guide you and walk you through the roadmap and still make this beneficial and as smooth and as painless as possible. So again, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Be on the lookout. We will be having more announcements, more webinars, keeping you up to date. There could be emails, there could be blogs, there will be webinars to go through this. So please do not hesitate to but reach out to us, but make sure you stay in touch with us, and we look forward to communicating and helping you guys through this process. So thank you. Appreciate it.